The Zephyrian fleet hung in the void above Kepler 442b like a pack of mechanical vultures, their obsidian hulls reflecting the system's dying star. For 3 cycles they had blockaded the planet, systematically dismantling the orbital defense platforms and reducing the surface cities to smoldering ruins. The indigenous Kalari had fought valiantly, but their crystalline energy weapons were no match for Zephyrian void steel armor and quantum disruptors. Admiral Vexthul stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion's Fist, watching the final evacuation transports flee the planet's surface. His 4 eyes tracked their desperate escape vectors with cold satisfaction. Soon, the Kalari homeworld would join the growing list of civilizations the Zephyrians had either conquered or exterminated. Admiral, his tactical officer hissed through mandibles that clicked with nervous energy. Long-range sensors are detecting a spatial distortion. Something's coming out of FTL. Vexthul's scaled lips curved into what might have been a smile. Reinforcements for the Kalari? How predictable. What class of vessel? The officer's secondary eyes dilated as he studied his readings. Unknown configuration, sir. The energy signature is unusual. It's big, Admiral. Very big. The space before them rippled like disturbed water, and reality tore open in a brilliant cascade of exotic particles. From the breach emerged a vessel unlike anything in the Zephyrian databases, a kilometer-long wedge of gunmetal gray, bristling with weapon emplacements and sensor arrays. Strange symbols were etched along its hull, letters that formed the words UES Retribution. "Scan it," Vexthul ordered, though unease crept into his voice. In 50 years of conquest, he had never seen a ship designed like this. "Sir, the scans are confusing. The armor appears to be some kind of layered composite, metals I don't recognize interwoven with what looks like crystalline matrices. And the power readings," the officer's voice faltered. "Admiral, that single ship is generating more energy than our entire fleet combined." Vexthul studied the newcomer through the viewport. It hung motionless in space, making no aggressive moves, yet something about its presence made his combat instincts scream warnings. "Hail them." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a bipedal figure with pale skin and startlingly blue eyes. The being wore a dark uniform adorned with insignia that suggested military rank. When it spoke, its voice was calm, measured, and utterly devoid of fear. "I am Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Earth Ship Retribution. You have 10 minutes to withdraw from this system and release any prisoners you've taken. This is your only warning." Vexthul's mandibles spread wide in amusement. "A single ship against my entire battle fleet? Are humans naturally delusional? Or is this stupidity unique to you?" The human's expression didn't change. 9 minutes, 30 seconds. "Destroy it," Vexthul commanded. 27 Zephyrian destroyers opened fire simultaneously, filling space with coherent energy beams and plasma torpedoes. The barrage struck the human vessel's shields in a spectacular light show that illuminated half the system. When the energy dissipated, the Retribution hung unchanged in space, its shields glowing with absorbed energy. "Impossible," Vexthul breathed. Captain Vasquez's voice crackled across the comm with mechanical precision. "Time's up." The human battleship moved with impossible grace for something so massive. Point defense turrets swiveled to track incoming missiles while larger weapon systems came online. The Retribution's main guns, railguns that accelerated tungsten slugs to 30% of light speed, spoke first. The Dominion's Fist shuddered as kinetic rounds punched through its void steel armor like paper. Secondary explosions rippled along the flagship's hull as ammunition stores detonated. But the human ship wasn't finished. Missile pods opened along its flanks, disgorging swarms of autonomous projectiles that weaved through Zephyrian point defense like deadly dancers. "How are they doing this?" Vexthul demanded as another of his ships exploded in a ball of superheated plasma. "Their targeting systems shouldn't be able to track us at this range." His tactical officer was frantically working his console, trying to understand what they faced. "Sir, I'm detecting massive quantum processing arrays throughout their ship. Their AI system appears to be running combat simulations in real time, predicting our movements before we make them." The battle, if it could be called that, lasted 17 minutes. When it was over, the Zephyrian fleet was debris cooling in the vacuum of space. Only Vexthul's heavily damaged flagship remained, life support failing and weapons offline. Captain Vasquez appeared on screen once more, her expression unchanged. "Admiral, You and your remaining crew will be taken into custody and delivered to the Galactic Tribunal for War Crimes. Medical teams are standing by. How? Bexthol gasped, his breathing apparatus leaking atmosphere. How did one ship defeat an entire fleet? The human captain studied him for a moment before answering. You made the mistake that every bully makes, Admiral. You assumed that because you could hurt others you were strong. But humans learned long ago that true strength isn't about the damage you can inflict. It's about what you're willing to endure to protect those who can't protect themselves. Rescue shuttles launched from the Retribution, their hulls painted with red crosses that somehow conveyed their peaceful intent. Despite emerging from a ship that had just demolished a battle fleet, the same hands that had unleashed destruction now reached out to preserve life. Down on Kepler 442b, the surviving Kalari watched in stunned silence as the human battleship established orbit around their wounded world. Relief ships began materializing from FTL jumps. Hospital ships, construction vessels, supply transports bearing the same strange symbols as the warship that had saved them. In the years that followed, the Kalari would tell their children about the day the humans arrived. They would speak of the terrible swift justice that befell their tormentors, but more importantly, they would remember the gentle hands that helped rebuild their cities and heal their wounded. The galaxy learned a new truth that day. There were those who brought terror and those who stood against it. And when the protectors finally arrived, they came not as conquerors but as guardians, terrible in their wrath, infinite in their compassion. The Retribution remained in orbit for 3 months, overseeing reconstruction efforts before departing for the next system, where its intervention was needed. As it disappeared into FTL, a simple message broadcast across all frequencies. Humanity stands with those who cannot stand alone.